Hey everyone, welcome to Data and Donuts. My name is Aaron. I'm here with my friend and colleague, Jarek Janio. Today we're going to talk about AI in higher education. But before we do that, I would like Jarek to tell us a little bit about himself.
All right. Well, hello, Aaron. Thank you very much for the invitation. This is the third time that we get to talk about assessment of student learning SLOs and things that have to do with what it is that students can do as a result of our teaching. So I'm certainly grateful for the opportunity. Indeed, the landscape that of education as a whole and perhaps the community college system in particular is changing very, very, very quickly right in front of our eyes. So I'm certainly looking forward to the conversation. Thanks again.
Excellent. So we'll jump right into it. So how do generative artificial intelligence like ChatGPT and Bard impact assessment of student learning?
Right. That's a great starting point for the discussion. I really think that the most powerful feature of ChatGPT and other AI tools that are available these days, they simply offer the fact that the learning is much more ubiquitous than it ever has been. That comes in the form of an assistant who can do pretty much everything. Before we have an in-depth discussion about what students can do with it, we do need to focus on their teachers, on faculty. So ChatGPT is putting the concept of flipped classroom in a bigger spotlight than ever before. Gone really are the days of endless lectures, hours spent listening to professors trying to enlighten their students. Our learners need to be directed to focus on competency and skill attainment by studying the material first at home, because now they can do it, and then going back to the classroom to bounce off their ideas, their learning, off their teachers and classmates. Look what happened. We can't hold our students accountable for finishing or not homework as we know it. Whatever question faculty ask can be answered instantly. So what do? We ask students to study however they want and then demonstrate their learning in any way they see fit. We as faculty offer guidelines, but not mandates anymore. As our students move through the education spectrum onto their adult lives and workplace, every step along the way, they are asked what they can do. Can you solve this formula? Can you analyze a poem? Can you lead a small group discussion? Yet, we are stuck with antiquated, discredited, and really oppressive grading system, which we use as a proxy for student learning. Our students deserve better. ChatGPT is going to help them in and out of our lives. And then to become a proficient learners, to be able to solve problems, to lead to follows, to understand. Students need relevant skills and competencies. Thanks to ChatGPT, assessment of student learning outcomes has become the focal point of classroom interactions, whether we like it or not. But then there are the dangers, right? What do? We have students who read, write, or study visual arts. What about computer coding? Aren't they going to be cheating? Sure, we are all pragmatic. Nobody wants to waste their time studying things for the sake of studying. If in doubt, ChatGPT can point to the utility of the activity. So first, we need to move away from cheating or not cheating discussion. It's demeaning to students, to faculty, and really misses the point of education. I will let others hash out this topic in other spaces. To teach well and to ensure student learning, we cannot continue using grades as a proxy. We can't take students' persistence and course completion as measures of what students can do. Instead, we need to start with answer to question why. That's it. Why am I teaching this? Why do my students need to know this? So in computer programming, think of what problems students are solving by learning to code and how AI can help them in the process. Writing is the same. What are we trying to say and for what reasons? I can't get over how easy it is for us these days to write a sonnet or even compose the lyrics of a song. But what is the purpose of these expressions? When it comes to visual arts, I would like to match fears of painters and musicians with the relentless desire for discovery shared by physicists, chemists, mathematicians, astronomers. These scholars cannot wait to put their hands on the newest of technologies. They strive to take advantage of the newest technology day in and day out. Why wouldn't artists explore boundaries of human imagination and creativity with AI? Perhaps colleges should start offering courses to students about how to use ChatGPT in their lives. That would include lives at school.
I agree. In many instances, when we see it, especially you, a great example about programming, a lot of the times, not just as college students, but as professionals in the field, we do a lot of programming, scripting, analysis, having an assistant across different platforms. So, for example, I know that Excel and Tableau and a variety of things, Power BI, will be having these generative AIs built into it where we describe it, at least in data science, as unsupervised learning. So supervised learning is where you teach a model or an artificial intelligence that, hey, what impacts this outcome? But in unsupervised, what we look at is that here's a bunch of information and data. What is it telling me? And you let the system tell you what it finds. There's things already in Excel that does that where you can just give it a bunch of data and it says, analyze this, and it's a press of a button now, as opposed to creating your own charts, creating your own analyses. It identifies key factors inside of your data. And while that's just very a rudimentary kind of presentation of that, I think for me, that's the direction we're going is let the machine help you get to that point in time, but then you have to add the context based on the situation, based on the scenario to bring that to life. So I think having that, like you said, it was a really good, I guess, comparison is like an assistant, almost like a digital assistant. And how do we leverage these digital assistants? And so with that, what are faculty to do in these scenarios in relation to including or excluding uh, generative AI or any other AI applications in the classroom?
Yes, excellent summary. Thank you for the question. Um, this a little bit reminds me of our intergenerational, discussions, right? That the world is moving on, but parents, grandparents, we are still stuck in our old ways of thinking. Hey, buddy, you have no idea what it took me to be where I am today. And our children tend to say, well, you're right. I really don't. Where's my iPhone now? And that's where we are. So again, collectively, we can figure those things out. We can find answers to these questions, and we can put ourselves on the forefront of the discussion. We just have to have the desire and the system to make it happen. So, what are faculty to do in this context? Well, with the ubiquitous and instant access to ChatGPT, there are no more excuses for faculty. Student learning can be obvious. On the syllabus, we can't merely introduce students, cover, or go over course material, even reflect on anything without specific skills and competencies attached. We teach, students learn. What do we teach and what do students learn have been topics of endless discussions in the last 15 years. And now the day of reckoning is upon us. Here's what we do. We start with the course content. We all know where course content can be found, right? It's our dear friend course outline of record. The easiest thing to do is to copy and paste the whole document into ChatGPT. You don't have to worry about the formatting or headings or anything else that's there. We are dealing with intelligent entity after all. All you really need to do is to query the it. What are students going to be able to do as a result of this course? What are they going to learn? List student learning outcomes for the course. Yes, ChatGPT understands what SLOs are. Try it. Don't forget, it's an intelligent machine, So don't hesitate to ask clarifying questions. You can even ask, "Are you sure?" See what shows up. Have a discussion. You're going to be amazed. Once we have the SLOs for the course, there are more questions that need to be asked. How do I teach these SLOs? How do I assess them? How do I assess them in a face-to-face classroom? How do I assess them online? How do I design a student learning outcome assessment rubric? Yes, ChatGPT can do all of these. And it can all do it in really one afternoon. Then again, once you start asking questions of another intelligent entity, who knows where that's going to lead us? Let's give it a try.
And so after we've done all this work, we've had assistant support. And it's funny because I've talked to many colleagues who are like against AI, but they're happy and confident to adopt like textbook materials and publisher developed materials. What's the difference? And I think that's the thing with that. And so now that we're generating this new knowledge, this new information, what are we going to do about the data as far as starting to collect data on learning, on a variety of different factors?
Yes, Aaron. And this is really the quadrillion-dollar question because it's going to put the concept of education as we know it on its head. John Dewey, Paulo Freire, Malcolm X, Cesar Chavez, endless list of thinkers who have been the social change leaders striving for equitable education will have their voices eventually heard. Their ideas and philosophies have centered on empowering students and communities through education. Just imagine if we start educating students proud of their skills and competencies, not just GPAs or even diplomas. What if we have graduates capable of solving problems related to their lives and communities because this is what they have been taught at school? SLO assessment data can show us who the problem solvers are, who are the critical thinkers, community leaders. The departure from the conventional methods of valuing students solely based on grades is taking place, and faculty, students, employers, and all other stakeholders around higher education need to be in the driver's seat leading the transformation. Google and Amazon are hiring engineers and programmers to study the impact of AI on their businesses. Focus groups composed of IT professionals are sprouting all over the world to see how AI can help us address challenges, which we face many. Academia has the brain capacity to figure out what to do next as well. We could create a teaching and learning community at the state level. We could ask for a formation of teaching and learning focus group on every campus. I just wouldn't call them committees necessarily. I hope these statements highlight the transformative potential of reimagining education and shifting the focus from traditional metrics such as GPA or diploma to a more holistic approach that values skills, competencies, and real-world problem-solving abilities. Transformation of education as prompted by the arrival of AI has far-reaching implications, both economically and socially. We need to gather our minds together, think it all through, and design solutions for the benefit of students that we serve, our communities, our world. It's all possible now, and data will show us the path.
Excellent, excellent. No, I can't agree more that, you know, having data so ubiquitous and in ways that we've never even experienced it or seen it or understand it. And I think having that in the realm and some of the things that I like to talk about and look at is what is the whole student experience. And I know I have a lot of colleagues and friends that are looking not just what's happening at the institution, but what's happening outside the institution. What are those implications occurring around us, and how can we support our students when we see things happening that way and outside of what's in our control? So we have a better picture of what to do, and then look at things such as generative AI to say, what solutions would you recommend? And look at it as almost a recommender system, which is kind of funny because it really leads into a similar question that I have, a bonus question about streaming. and about maybe things that you're interested in. So, for example, we go on Netflix, we go on Hulu, we go on Disney Plus, whatever platform you have, and you're always given a recommendation. It's called recommendation engine or a recommender. And so instead of going through that to see what we may want to look at next, are there any previous shows or current shows that you're watching that you'd like to share with us?
Oh gosh, that is indeed a bonus question. I'm completely thrown off. I tell you, this is probably one of those tasks that really, if I have any free time, it's eaten up by going through Rotten Tomatoes and other sites to trying to figure out what to watch next. And I tell you, one thing that I have observed is the explosion, for lack of a better expression, of really material that's available from countries outside of the United States. There is, European dramas. I always relate to those quite well, but I tell you, there is Korean, Chinese, Japanese onslaught of entertainment materials that I just can't begin to describe. These are from crime dramas through soap operas and whatnot. And it's really all kinds of different genres that all of a sudden have become so visible to us. And that even goes back to my COVID experience when I went to see and the number of equity related discussions that we've been having for the last few years. I remember I went to see a Van Gogh exhibition at a convention center. It was this 3D visual experience that was just absolutely fascinating, visually very, very appealing. And then when I went back to my online classroom and I was so happy to share it with my students, all of a sudden it hit me. Okay, just a minute here. Why am I talking to them about Van Gogh? There aren't any Argentinian painters who did some work with Impressionism. How about Vietnam or Korea, China for the matter? And guess what? They are there. They are there. We just need to find them. But if you go to Google and type things like Vietnamese Impressionist painting, you'll find those painters. There is work done all over the planet. Again, with artificial intelligence, we are really empowering people who have never had a voice to voice it. And that again reminds me of this picture of it was back from iPhone days. I think when we were starting with iPhones, I saw a picture of a worker in somewhere on a dirt road in a never land without any running water, just tending the herd of sheep perhaps with an iPhone, right? So you could see that there is a big gap between what it is that Western civilization is taking for granted and what the rest of the world may experience, and how technology narrows that gap. Now, imagine this with AI being available in the corners of the world that we don't even know exist for practical purposes. Sky's the limit. But I tell you, I appreciate the question, and I'm just every day I'm just amazed at the possibility, the variety, and equity implications.
Most definitely. And I think in the future we may have to explore something if I'm allowed to order one. It's called a Microsoft HoloLens 2. If you have a chance, you may want to check that out. It's really taking the experience of not just AI, but also taking that mixed with a variety of applications to have interactive augmented reality experiences. And how it was showing, at least how it's being utilized in training, is like you're there, but you're not there with someone, and you're walking them through and demonstrating. It's kind of like what you see on the Avengers with Iron Man moving things around with his hands. At least that's how it's been presented to me that way. I think that's going to really reshape how we do a lot of learning, a lot of hands-on, and how we engage with others. Again, it's not tomorrow. It's maybe not the next day, but with Apple and Meta and all these other outfits coming out with these tools, and even Like a long time ago, it used to be called Google Cardboard, where it was like $10 and you could put your phone in and you're interacting with others in a virtual environment, not like a Second Life type of a thing, but like a learning environment, a gaming environment. I think alongside with artificial intelligence, that's going to be a really big lift. But that's another talk, another day we can explore. But it's been fun chatting today.
Yeah, absolutely. It certainly has been my pleasure. And I tell you, I'm afraid that interviews such as this one are really going to go away as of next year. Uh, I will have my avatar talking to you, and I will tell it what you need to hear, and it's going to be done with my face, my voice, my everything. And you're absolutely right. I'm looking forward to those the glasses that Apple has been introducing, and see what happens, because again, applications for education are just completely endless. Just imagine, I can replicate the classroom, that's not going to have only one teacher, but an AI backed up by gazillions of pieces of information that will be at my disposal to answer any question that I may have. Imagine that.
Most definitely. Most definitely. And I think as if you ever decide to, I don't know if you're on, I'm on ChatGPT Plus, and they have plugins that I'll start using. And so instead of just having the repository of mega data that they have, you will then connect with other data points and other systems, like how Bard is connected to the internet and how other things are connected to other systems. Like my mind, there's so many out there. There's one called Elicit, and that's one I think I shared with you that goes directly to a huge database of journal articles, of peer reviewed journal articles, or the one that they did on those BioGPT that Microsoft did that looked at all medical journals. So this is not just some made up source, it's really crowdsourcing knowledge and bringing it together in a way that's the most efficient way we can at this point. So and then on another side note, then there's the human testing that's happening in Neuralink, where they're in trying to embed computer. We'll see how that all works out. But
That's right.
anywho,
That's right. That's
we'll,
right.
we'll
Yeah.
get
Yep.
there.
Just
Cool.
just
All right.
imagine. That's right. A year from now, you're going to have a much smarter version of me.
I'm
Then
still
again,
working on
I'm
that
going
for
to have a much
myself.
smarter version of you. So we'll see where
I'm
the
working on
conversation
that.
takes
Let's
us.
let's let's not go that far for me. Awesome. All
We'll be
right.
fine.
Cool.
I'm an optimist.
Excellent. Myself as well. Well, it was good chatting today, and
I'm here.
we'll talk soon.
You
All right.
bet.
Have a
My
good one.
pleasure. Thank you, Aaron.